Hi, you are welcome to another video tutorials. In this very video, we are going to look at how to use our basic mathematical operations in Microsoft Excel. Now, these mathematical operations were used way back in school in our math class, and we often use these basic mathematical operations to perform arithmetic operations. And today we are going to see how to use them in Microsoft Excel. You can also combine them to perform complex functions and formulas in Excel. Now, these basic operators we are going to look at in this video are the addition sign, the multiplication sign, the subtraction sign, and the division sign. Now, this is my Excel workbook, and I have 4 worksheets open in this workbook. And when you move to the sheet tab, I have the addition worksheet, which contains this data. I have the multiplication worksheet, subtraction worksheet, and also the division worksheet. Now, we are going to see how to use these operators to manipulate this data within this 4 worksheets. In the addition worksheet, we have this practical test exams that consist of the name of students, subjects they partake in the test exams, which are subject 1, 2, and 3. Now we are going to use our addition sign to get the total marks for the individual subject based on the individual student. And in Excel, when it comes to manipulating of data using formulas and functions, you have to start with an equal sign or the plus sign. Now, this is the first student in this list, and this student had 30 in subject 1, 25 in subject 2, and 38 in subject 3. And we are going to calculate for the total marks for this first student. And we'll also follow the trend to get the total marks for the remaining students in this class. In Excel, when it comes to adding of data or data elements in Excel, you can go by the values in the cells or also use cell references or cell name to get your data manipulated. And these 2 elements, which are the values and cell reference, have a far difference. When it comes to entering of values, it has some disadvantages, and these are: there might be an error when it comes to typing of the values in the cells, and also it does not dynamically or automatically update itself when there's a change of value. But when it comes to cell references, it dynamically or automatically change when there is a change of value, and also it needs no cross check. So whenever there is an operation performed using cell references, always there's no need to cross check because all operations are performed accurately and perfectly. So let's see how practically this works based on values and cell references. Now, for the first student, we click in this cell, and as I said earlier, you can start with an equal sign or the plus sign. So when you type the equal to sign, for the subject 1, she had 30. Then you type your 30 plus 25 plus 38. Now we have these values. When you hit the enter key, it gives you the total for this value. Now, to see that this is the accurate formula for this individual subject, what you do is you select all these values and move to your status bar. You can see that we have the sum function here that states sum colon 93. It means that this answer we have here, or the total marks we have in this cell, is accurate. Therefore, if you don't have this element on your status bar, what you can do is to right click on the status bar. You get these options, and you can see I have check marks beside all these options. So if you don't have the check mark, you just click to have the check mark. So as you can see, this sum has no check mark, and when you move to the status bar, I don't have the sum function on the status bar. So if I right click and check, I'm going to have it on my status bar. Therefore, this answer in this cell is accurate. Now let's change this value and see if this total marks is going to dynamically change. Now when I hit the enter key, it has no change in this cell. But if you select all these cells and move to your status bar, we have 98. Therefore, it is advisable for you to use cell references to manipulate data in Excel. So let's delete this. Now let's type our equal to sign. Then when you move to this cell, this 35 is located in column B and row 3. Therefore, you can manually type or select. So let's see how to manually type cell references. So it goes by B3. Then you bring your plus sign, and you can see there is a border around this cell, meaning this particular cell is selected, and whatever element in this cell will be available when it comes to manipulation of the data. Then we move to this cell, which is under C3. Then you bring your plus sign, D3. Then you hit your enter key. Now this is 98. When you select these cells and move to the status bar, you can see that the sum of these numbers is 98. Therefore, whatever answer we have in this cell is accurate. Therefore, the advantage of cell reference is that when there's a change in any of these cells, this answer will automatically change. Therefore, I am going to change this value. And when you hit the enter key, you can see that there's a change of value here. There's a change of value. Therefore, when I select this cell and move to my status bar, I have 92, which tells me that this answer is accurate. Now, this is how to use cell references in Excel to calculate for data in Excel. I also said you can use the plus sign to perform this function. We previously used the equal to sign, as you can see in the formula bar. So we are going to use the plus sign. So let's delete this. Now let's start with the plus sign. Then this time around, we are not going to type the cell reference, rather we are going to select. So you just place your pointer here and left click, and this has a running border around this cell, meaning this cell is selected. Then you bring your plus sign, you left click, plus sign, you left click, then you hit the enter key. This is also going to give you the answer for this individual subject. So when you select, you have the sum as 92, and that is the answer for this. So this is how to add numbers in Excel. Another alternative is that since this is the first values for this student, you can use the sum function to calculate for range. And when it talks about range, that is where we have two or more cells which has data to be manipulated. Therefore, to use the sum function, you can type equal to sum. Then you have this list. You can select from this list, or you can hit the tab key on the keyboard. Now it says number 1, number 2. So this is the screen tip that gives you the guideline to select your cell references. So when I select this, instead of bringing the plus sign, this is what you do. You bring a colon. And when a colon is inputted into a formula, it tells that this is a range. Therefore, I am not going to select this number, rather I'm going to select this one. This selection will move around all these three values, indicating that these values are selected. Therefore, you close the bracket by holding your shift key and the number 0 on your keyboard, depending on your type of keyboard you use. Then you hit the enter key. And this also gives you 92. When you select and move to your status bar, we have 92. Another alternative is that you can move to your home tab, and in the editing group, we have this button known as the sum button. When you click on the drop down arrow, we have these options, and you can select this option. Therefore, this will automatically select all these cells, and when you hit the enter key, you get your answer for this particular data. Another way to get your total for these values is when you move to the formulas tab, we have this option known as insert function. When you click on it, this gives you this dialog box, and it tells you to search for a function. Also, you can select a function from this option. So when you move through and see the function that you want, you just select, and we are going to use the sum function When you click on it, you click on OK. This gives you the function argument to determine the cell you want to use. And now you can see that automatically this has detected these values. You can also select from your worksheet by clicking on this button. Then you select this, and when you move back, you go to number 2, select this, number 3, select this, and this function is going to determine all these. And as you can see in the formula bar, it says equal to sum bracket open b3 comma c3 comma d3. Therefore, when I click on OK, this is going to give me the total marks for these individual values. Another way to calculate for the total marks for this individual subject is to select this cell. Then beside the formula bar, we have this function known as insert function as compared to the button under the formulas bar. So when you click on this once, you get this dialog box and the sum function is selected. You click on OK, and this has automatically detected the cells to be calculated based on this function. But if you are not sure, you can click on this button and select these 3 cells and click on OK, and this will automatically add these numbers. Therefore, when there's a change of value in any of these cells, it automatically updates itself under the total marks. And as you can see, we have this here, and you can cross check by going to your status bar. We have 93 here. So these are some of the various ways you can use to add numbers or values in Excel. So you can use any of the approach for the second student and the remaining student. Equal to, you select plus, you select plus, you select and hit the enter key. We have 92 for this. So when you select, you can see that we have the accurate answer here. You can also use the sum function. You can click on this button or you can type manually. And when you select this, you bring your colon. Then you select this and hit the enter key. You have 95. You can also move to the home tab, click on the sum function. And as you can see, this has detected the values above this function. Therefore, this is not what we want to calculate for. So we want to move the attention from this section to this individual cells here. Therefore, we are going to change the cell references in this function. So let's move to the formula bar, and this is located in B6. So we just change from B6. Then we change this one to D6. Now these cells are selected. You can hit the enter key, and this is the total marks for the 4th student in the class. Now there is a trick in Microsoft Excel known as fill handle, and you can use this to generate the total marks for the remaining students. You don't have to individually type the formulas for individual students. Rather, you can just type the formula or get the total marks for the first student and copy the formula down to the various students. So assuming you have 60 to 90 students, Excel can help you to get your total marks within a minute or some seconds, only if you get the formula for the first student in the class. And in this list, I have only 16 students. Therefore, if I want to get the remaining total marks for the remaining students, then I just select the last calculated total marks, and you can see we have this green border around this cell, and at the right bottom corner we have this button that looks like a square, and when you place your mouse pointer on it, it gives you this dark plus symbol. Therefore, if I left click and drag this down to the remaining students and release, Excel is going to copy the formula down and calculate the total marks for the remaining students. Now we have all these marks for these individual students based on their subjects they partake in the text exams. So this is how to use the addition sign in Microsoft Excel. And as I said earlier, if you are able to use these basic operators, you can combine them to perform complex functions and formulas. Now we have this total marks for all these students, and you can cross check. When I select this and move to my status bar, I have 87. When I select this, I have 92. When I select this, I have 90. So whatever marks we have in these cells are accurate. Now, when you move to the right side, we have these Excel functions, and these are mean, max, sum, and average. Mean is known as the minimum, and this function is used to get the minimum value or the least value in a particular range of data. And also max is used to determine the highest value or the maximum value within a data or range of data. And the sum function is used to calculate two or more data in a cell. And as we have previously used to calculate the total mass for these three subjects we have here. And the average is used to get the mean or the average of values within a range of data. So let's see how to use this. Now, before we can use this formula, let's see if we have the minimum value and come back and use this minimum function to get the minimum value in this data. So we are going to use this total max to get our minimum, max, sum, and also average. Now, if I select these cells and move to my status bar, I have the mean value as 80, meaning that all these data we have in these cells, the minimum value is this 80 we have here. So let's see if this function is going to bring us 80. So we select in this cell, type our equal to sign or your plus sign, then you type MIN, and you have this list, and we want the mean function. You can double click, and you are going to have this. Then we want to get the minimum value in this range of data. So this also use ranges. So what you have to do is to select the first cell, then you type your colon, then you move to the last cell and select, and this is going to select all this data within this range. Therefore, you close the brackets, you can ignore the brackets, and when you hit the enter key, we get this 80. Therefore, the minimum value in this range of data is 80. And as we proved earlier, we selected all these and moved to our status bar, and we had 80. The next one is the max, that is the maximum value. When I select all these cells, and I can see that the maximum value is 98. So let's see if this function is going to give us 98. So we select this, type our equal to sign, max, then we select this first cell, we bring our colon, then we select our last cell, then we hit the enter key. Therefore, whatever value we had on our status bar is accurate. Now, to get a sum function which you are familiar with, you just type equal to sign, sum, you open the parenthesis, then you select the first cell, you bring your colon, you select the last cell, then you hit the enter key, and this gives us the total value for all these cells. Therefore, if I select these cells and move to the status bar, you can see that the sum gives us 1469, and that is what we have here, 1469. To also get the average, when I select all these cells, and the average gives me 91.8125. So let's see if this function is going to give us this average. We select this cell, type equal to AVE, we get this list, then we double click on this average, we select the first cell, type our colon, then we select our last cell, then we hit the enter key, and this also gives us the exact value of what we had on the status bar. So this is how to use the addition sign and also other Excel functions in Microsoft Excel. Let's move to our next worksheet. Now, in this worksheet, we have weekly expenditure, and we have items, quantity, unit price, and we have total price. And we are going to get our total price by using the multiplication sign. And in Excel, the multiplication sign is the asterisk sign on your keyboard. Therefore, to get this total max, you just type your equal to sign. Then this is located in B3. Then you type your asterisk sign, and this is located in C3. Then you hit your enter key, and this gives you the total max for the first item in this list. Now, another way of calculating data using the multiplication sign is to use a function known as the product function. And this, when you select the cell, you just type your equal to sign and type PROD. You get this product function, you double click. Then it asks for the numbers you want to multiply. And this is the first number. You bring your comma, then you select this, you close the bracket and hit the enter key. And this also gives you the total price for this desktop item in this list. Therefore, when I change this quantity and hit the enter key, this gives me the total price automatically. And also you can use any of these approach to get the remaining items. But quickly, to get all this total price, you just use your fill handle and drag. You're going to get the total price for all these items. So if I change this to 5 and hit the enter key, you can see we have this value for the total price. So this is how the multiplication works in Microsoft Excel. And when you move to the subtraction sheet, we have monthly profit data, items, sold price, cost price, and a profit. And we want to get the profit for these individual items. Therefore, we are going to subtract the cost price from the sold price. So you select, type your equal to sign. You can also start with your plus sign. Then you select this cell minus this. Then you hit your enter key, and this is the profits for this car sold based on this price. And you can use the same procedure, equal to, you select minus, you select, you hit the enter key, and we have this hash symbols here, and this is not an error. This tells you that the values cannot be retained in this cell. Therefore, to get your value fully shown, you just adjust your column, and now this is the value or the profits for this motorcycle, and you can use your fill handle to get the remaining profit. So this is how to use the subtraction sign in Microsoft Excel. Now let's move to the division worksheet. And this, we have electrical calculation here, and we have volt, resistance, and current. And in electrical calculations, when it comes to finding of current, you have to divide the volts by the resistance. So in Excel, to use the division sign, to use the / as your division sign. So you type your equal to, you select this cell, you bring your / you select this cell, you hit the enter key, and this is the current based on the volt and the resistance. And you can also do the same thing here, equal to, you select / you select, you hit the enter key. You can use the plus sign, you select / you select, you hit the enter key. You can also use your fill handle to get the remaining current for the other parameters. So this is how to use your basic mathematical operators in Excel to perform arithmetic operations. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful, and also to subscribe to see more educative videos like this in the near future.